Hey everybody, I wanted to do a video, and this video is called FPV, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Drones. And at the end of this, I'll explain my 2 cents on drones and quads, but I want to dive into a video I made last year. It didn't really go viral on YouTube, but the amount of emails and questions I got from it was staggering. So I'm going to dive into it. So in 2019 at SEFF, which is the electric fly-in down in Americus, Georgia, between April 29th and May 4th, a really good friend of mine did a whole bunch of aerial videography. From that video, I put together the video using the music from Interstellar. So just so you know, as long as you don't monetize your video or advertise anything about a company, you can use a lot of copywritten music on YouTube. So as long as I said it was Interstellar, who wrote the music, the orchestra that played it, I meet all the criteria of YouTube to be able to use the music to Interstellar. Okay. Now, if I would advertise at the end of it, you know, who made the quad or who made my motor, then I would be ineligible. But the pilot for this that week was Eamonn Kelly, in my opinion, one of the greatest people to work with. He's actually a really good friend of mine. But as far as doing aerial videography and basically playing ship-to-ship video, over here you're hopefully seeing some of it. The drone he used was a QuadMonster's frame, a 7-inch frame. It's a racing drone, and he was carrying a GoPro Hero 7 on it. So that's the quad. I've had so many people ask me about it. So it was the QuadMonster frame 7-inch racing drone carrying a GoPro 7. Okay, the plane was my Emmaselle. It weighed 59 pounds, 188-inch span, has a Hacker A100, has a Castle Ice 160 ESC. I have Futaba S-Bus in this, so I have all my telemetry. But the video was made up of many days of different flights that week. Okay, and we kind of pre-planned the flights. We talked about when he would orbit my airplane or the target. We talked about when we wanted to fly backwards, and I would bring my airplane up to him. So think about those 2 things right there. We're standing side by side. He's looking through his goggles. I'm flying my airplane in somewhat of a pre-planned pattern. And all he's doing is seeing through his FPV goggles my airplane. Now, he was very afraid of flying into my airplane, and it wouldn't have hurt my airplane. It might have broke my prop, but I would have chewed that quad up and spit it out. So I wasn't scared of the air-to-air, but he was, because he didn't want to hurt my airplane. So he could only get so close without basically deciding to back off. So we had decided to do orbiting to target shots, flying backwards below shots, and then chase sequences. And all those were pre-planned out, that we kind of choreographed what we were going to do in the air. The most important thing if you're going to do this type of video is communication between you and your drone pilot. You do that for public safety. Okay, the worst thing we want to do is get right above us and have him fly into my prop and then his parts come falling down on spectators. Okay, you're also doing it to make sure that you're not creating something that would damage my airplane and make it go out of control, which my plane is a behemoth. It's a big whale. I don't think, unless he came diving out of the sky and went through my wing, he could have done much to my plane. And it was the only way to get a successful video is us by kind of choreographing and talking to each other. Like I would be flying and he would say, okay, can you start to climb? And, you know, as I would climb, my airspeed would come down and then he could slow down a little bit. Or I would say to him, am I going too fast? And he would say, yeah, slow down a little bit, you know, because for his quad to go a certain speed, it changes the camera angle. So for us to get all that right really took a lot of choreography between the 2 of us. Now I want to talk about FPV for a minute. Now, I don't own anything FPV. I own a quad just so I could say I bought a little Tower Hobby quad. Or drone or whatever the hell you call it. But you know, there's this perception out there that FPV and quads are ruining the hobby. And what really infuriates me about that is it's the same perception that one bad police officer means every police officer in the country is bad and they should be defunded. Okay, that is BS, okay? So one bad drone pilot does not mean every drone or quad or FPV pilot is bad. I fully believe if they break the rules or they break the laws, they should be punished. But we can't, as a hobby, push all the FPV people out because of the cool videos that we can make, the cool things we can do as an aviation family. You know, the public's perception of us is dangerous when they go to Facebook and read that half of you aviators say, oh, well, quads and drones are dangerous. So some of these people might have never heard of a quad or a drone, and they see your Facebook post saying, oh, these are dangerous, it's going to ruin the hobby. Then they hear about somebody breaking the law and go, oh yeah, I saw it on Facebook. It should be outlawed. Let's call our local senator and get FPV and drones outlawed. And then this guy over here says, no, let's get every RC aircraft outlawed. There should not be anything flying in the air unless it's at that little club down there. So we've got to be really careful to make cool videos like Eamonn and I made. Are just beautiful to do. But we need to think as a hobby, and all of us model aviators, what damage we're doing when we start calling out saying a certain part of our hobby is dangerous. You know, let's say in 2 or 3 years from now, there's a new type of technology that we can fly model aircraft, and somebody goes, well, that's stupid. All it takes is the public to say, well, their own people are saying it's stupid. Let's get rid of all of it. So, you know, I lived through everybody hating helicopters. I lived through everybody hating gliders. And now everybody's trying to hate quads and FPV and all of that. Like I said before, one bad police officer doesn't make every police officer bad. Okay, one crazy drone pilot doing something stupid doesn't mean every quad and drone pilot's an idiot. So, but I just want to make the video on how this flight happened, and we need more flights like this to happen. Okay, there's 2 purposes of this video, is to answer all your questions about the flight, but also to try to get everybody to realize we are one big hobby and we need to be having a blast. And I would love to do FPV on a plane like this if I had a spotter that could take it over. I've flown fixed wings with FPV, and I'm telling you people, to look through the windshield of that airplane and fly down the runway and land is almost like flying full scale. To me, FPV is the closest thing. I mean, you're technically in the airplane, at least optically. So thanks for watching my videos, everybody. I just want to throw this one out there. All I can say is that we need to not judge everything just because it's different. If you fly a Piper Cub and you think a helicopter is garbage, keep it to yourself. If you fly a Piper Cub and you think the guy flying a P-51 is garbage, keep it to yourself. So, rock on everybody. I'll see you in the next video, and everybody have a kick-ass day.